I just came in to, check in with everybody. I'm still struggling with being consistent on here on YouTube as far as like uploading videos and things like that. But listen, remember the video that I did like a year ago, 3 reasons why I left the post office? Now, I didn't tell you all of the story times, child. And I just reflected on it like probably yesterday. Like, oh my gosh, like I got some stories, right? Just for anybody out there that's struggling and deciding what they still want to do, or deciding if they even still want to like work for the post office or whatever the case may be. Okay, so this might alter your reason why you should or why you shouldn't, but I think it'll alter your reason as to why you shouldn't work for the post office. So story time. I'm from New York. I'm from Bronx, New York, but I used to work in Queens. So I used to work specifically in Long Island City, Queens. That's over there where the 59th Street Bridge is, Queensbridge, Astoria. That's pretty much Astoria. So my local post office, which was really close to Rikers Island, in that section of Astoria by the water, they didn't have me there that day. My boss told me, the management told me, look, Cherie, they need you here at the main station in Long Island in Long Island City for the week. So don't report here in the mornings for the whole week. Just go straight there. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get there, and that's where all of the nasty management is. I was at a smaller station. My home station, Woolsey, was a small, really cool, laid-back station. I really enjoyed my manager. But like I said, you run into a lot of nasty people in the post office, and you also run into a lot of cool people. And you also run into snakes. You also run into in-betweeners. You run into everybody at the post office. But I could say that I found some good solid people, like a tribe that I still actually connect with and communicate with here and there. But back to what I was saying, they had me at the main station, which is the big station, which is that controls like 5 zip codes. So it's the main large station. Excuse me, y'all, got a notification. And so I was doing all of the, doing what I had to do. It's crazy in the mornings because it's tons and tons and tons of mail. So, and it was during COVID, so it was crazy. And the management was even crazier. They think they could talk to you any kind of way. However, so, the people that's been there for years and years and years, they have their route. So I held down this route for this man. He worked in Queensbridge projects, right? For whoever is watching my video that's not from New York, and that may work for the post office or may want to work for the post office, Queensbridge, that's like a famous area where Nas is from, whatever. Those are the projects over there. So it's ghetto. It's ghetto, child. It's ghetto. But anyway, so, but I'm used to the ghetto. Like, I'm from the ghetto. I know how to deal with people, and I'm a people's person. But anyway, long story short, everything was all good in the neighborhood. I delivered to all, and mind you, guys, Queensbridge Projects is huge, but they didn't give me the whole section. So it's probably it's 2 different mail carriers serving for one side of Queensbridge and then the other side. So I served for the other side of Queensbridge. I was in like the 40s. If you from New York, you know. If you from Queens specifically, you know. But yeah, everything was fine. I finished the route. I almost finished the route. So it started getting dark, and it's the industrial section over there across the street from Queensbridge. So I get to that section, delivering the mail. And if anybody knows about the post office, I parked. I have an LLV. So out in Queens, they still use LLVs, and in other parts of the country, they still use LLVs. But in like the other parts of the 5 boroughs, they only use the 2-ton, like the big trucks. Anyway, on a tangent, but so I get to the industrial section where it's desolate. It's a lot of homeless people. It's a lot of mentally ill people. So they have like these areas, hotels, where they have it set up for mentally ill and homeless people. So in that industrial section that I got to on that part of the route, it was a Holiday Inn, but it wasn't. It was for mentally ill and homeless people. And it was real desolate. So I parked and looped the truck, right? I looped and parked the truck, whatever you want to call it. So I'm parking and looping. Everything was all good. Did the industrial section. Then when I'm on my way back, I'm walking down the block. I see my truck moving. Mind you, before that, I made sure I locked all the windows. I locked the door. And it was still mail and also packages inside. So that was the last little bit that I was on my way back to get in with my cart. So I'm walking, the LLV shaking from side to side. I walk up even further. I get closer. It's somebody's like jacket on the rear end mirror. So I get even closer, and it was snowing. It was in February, back in like 2021. It was snowing, so it already snowed. It was the big snowstorm, and I walk even closer. Before I could get exactly to the truck, this little man jumped from inside the truck with like three trays of mail and a bucket of packages. Jumped over the snow onto the sidewalk. So I walk up even closer. I'm at the back of the truck now. I'm like, sir, like, what are you doing? He was like, I'm in a drunken stupor. It was a guy that was already in your truck. He said he worked for the post office, and he said that he's quitting today and you could take everything that's inside. And so I just took he had like a jug of Fabuloso or a Swiffer Sweeper wet jet liquid. And I'm like, put the stuff back, sir. Put the stuff back, or I'm going to call the cops. But I was extra hood with it. I was like, yo, put the stuff back. Put the stuff back. No, I was just playing. But I did get hood, but I'm not going to get hood right here because I'm a sweetheart. But anyway, he was like, okay, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I was like, so I get on the phone with my management. Now, as you know, in the post office, there are some managers that are just not smart, and they just if there's a position opening, they're going to apply, and they shouldn't. But anyway, that was one of the type of managers I was speaking to, and they was like, call the cops. So I call. The dude dips. He puts down the trays of mail and the packages, and he out. He's dipped. Why? While I'm on the phone explaining everything, I get off the phone. Why, like 10 minutes later, the cops pull up, right? I explain everything. While I'm explaining everything, what was going on, why this stupid fool that robbed my truck walked back to the crime scene? This stupid, never get caught. He gets caught. Because I was like, that's him right there. You know, hindsight thinking about it, it was mad funny. Like, it was so funny. But, yeah. So, moving forward, the next day, why my management knew what happened. I had to come, once I finished doing the deliveries, mind you, I had to finish the deliveries. They didn't care. I explained to them, all they cared, they didn't care about my well-being. While I'm back on the phone with my management, they asked like how many packages, because it was like empty bags and packages, so it was like they had to be damaged out and things like that. And it was like, what about the packages? What about the packages? What about the mail? That's all they cared about. They didn't care about me, because guess what? The next day, my week wasn't over. Why they wanted me to go back on that same route? I was like, hell no. Hell to the no. 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 I was like, I need to speak to a union rep, because I'm not doing this. Nope. Because I could have, you know, God forbid, he could have had a gun or something. Even though he was a damn fool that was high off something. I'm like, I'm not going back. So I speak to my union rep. I speak to the postmaster. And he was like, they really just like don't care. They don't care. When I personally spoke to the postmaster, he was like, well, you know, I've been on the job for like 30 years. And like my first couple of months, I got held up at gunpoint. And then it was another, oh shoot, my phone about to die. But anyway, there was another mail carrier from my home station. She got held up too with a knife. And in Astoria. But anyway, it's dangerous being a mail carrier. So I was like, you know, and then they thought about it and it was like, okay, well, we'll change your route. So I was shocked. I was traumatized, because guess what, guys? Guess what? It wasn't over. This man was on parole. So he was, the man that robbed my truck was on parole. And so, you know, he forfeited his parole, however you call it. So I had to speak to his parole officer. I had to go downtown on 34th Street, where they have like parole hearings and stuff, and actually explain what happened and tell the story over. Just like I'm telling you guys now, I had to tell the story over. Why the district attorney of Queens sent me in the mail order of protection. And till this day, they're still sending me order protections, even though I know that man wouldn't know who I was, right? At all. He wouldn't know who I was, because I had, you know, all the gear on. I had my USPS outfit, you know, uniform on. But just to let you know, guys, if you want to be a mail carrier, this is what comes with it. It's no joke, especially during COVID checks, stimulus check season. You know, people get their Social Security checks still in paper, and you have to deliver that stuff. People know when the 1st and the 15th is. People get their checks, and people will rob you, especially in cities. I'm from the Bronx, so you already know. Like, in any major city, period, there's hoods in everywhere, okay? And you just have to be careful. And that's one of the ugly sides of working for USPS, guys. So I just totally realized, like, a year later that, yeah, I had more things to say, but it was a lot to unpack in that previous video. But I just had to get on and tell y'all, it's real. Be cautious, be careful. And just note that in your mental pad, that That's possible. That can possibly happen to you, especially if you work in a major city. But even if you don't, like your LLV, if you in like rural Texas or whatever, somebody could pull up on you and be like, give me the loot, give me the loot. Or I'ma shoot. And that's it ain't enough amount of money. I think that's when I decided to be like, you know what? I like this job, but not that much. Because I really had to go out my way, like twice, go down to his parole hearing. This stupid fool's parole hearing. And testify. It was crazy. It was ridiculous. I had to miss work and everything. So guys, I'm off of this, but yeah. Like, you know, at your own discretion. But yeah, I'll get back on here soon to review something else. But I just had to give you a story time. That was crazy. Bye.